Hello and good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. It's 4 a.m. in the morning here. Um, so I wanted to do a video analysis of Bitcoin, okay? Because on my stream was really bad quality for some reason. I don't know what's going on at the minute. I was also just testing my indicator rather than actually talking Bitcoin. So first off, I want to bring you to the most glaring range here. So we've got a triangle pattern playing out. Okay, so we'll go from the top of that candle to the bottom there, stretch it across. Okay, we've got this ascending triangle. Now normally, I'm going to show you, normally these will play out sort of like to the downside. Okay, so when an ascending triangle plays to the downside, we could expect to see, let me show you how we work this out. We will get the line tool from the top to the bottom, drag that across, and then wherever it breaks out, so say it breaks out here, okay, it's going to come down to the line, and then we do it from the past point it's broken out, so you can be a bit more accurate placing horizontal line or horizontal ray rather. Okay, like that. No, that wasn't bad placement. So say it breaks out here, it doesn't matter where it's going to break out. This is the suspected target, 44,000. Okay, so let's put a horizontal ray here. Would help if I clicked it. Sorry, my bad. Okay, let's get rid of that now. Let's get rid of that now. Let's get rid of that. On here, let's add text, and we will put breakdown target. Okay, so that's if this ascending triangle breaks down. However, we need to zoom out because there's something bigger at play. Okay, with Bitcoin, there's something bigger at play right now going on, and it involves last season. Now I know everyone thinks like Bitcoin has a 4-year cycle, okay, and it does, but that doesn't mean to say it's not going to change. We've had a lot of new factors come into play over the last couple of years. We've got stocks, we've got ETFs, we've got better regulation coming in, better support. We've got presidents and prime ministers all talking about it. Okay, so there's more to it now. There's more substance. Okay, so I'm not saying the 4-year cycle is broken. Okay, but I'm saying there is a possibility that we are about to enter a new trading era for Bitcoin. And let me explain. Okay, so over here, for example, let's do price. Okay, we had a 32%. I don't know if you can see that. Let me draw this. Okay, so that there was a 32.44% drop. Okay, so let's move this across and swing it over like that. So I want to point this out. Okay, after that 32% drop, we pumped. Okay, and then we dropped again. This time 55.36%. Okay, so let's do this and then 55.36%. Okay, don't know why. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so now that we've got those figures, okay, we then proceeded to pump. Okay, so this was a, let's have a look, 139% pump. Okay, pump. Okay, with a possibility of, from the top to the top, yeah, I think I've got Yeah, about that. Okay, so with a 6% difference. Okay, so let's do 6% difference. Okay, right, so let's have a look. Okay, so from here, okay, this is the normal bull run movement. Okay, we've had a bit of consolidation and we had a bit of consolidation. Now it's just elongated, okay, extended. Okay, that's quite a posh word for me. I don't normally use that. Right, but let's have a look. Price. Okay, so we're going from here. Okay, this is a 32.35%. Okay, so let's draw this out. So 32.35% drop. Okay, let's do price. Okay, down to hit 52.64%. 52.64% drop. Okay, and now possibility. I've got to make this shorter again. Sorry. So this is a 55.36, 32.44, 32.35, 52.64. Okay, so there's some difference. It's never going to be exact. There's always going to be movement. And then hold on, what we want to do here is price from the low. What was it? 139%. So let's do 139%. Okay. So this is a possibility of a breakout. Okay. So this is a 139% pump. Now, chances are might not do that, especially as it's like 143,000, possibly. I was hoping we'd see 150,000, but I don't know. Okay, but I just want to point out these similarities here. Let's delete that because that looks hideous. Okay, now let's have a look at other confirmation here. Okay, so from price bottom to the top, it's a little bit more there, 125%. Okay, let's have a look. I mean, this might not be anything, like I might just be clutching at straws of hope. That was 67%, so that was only half the difference, you know. So we might not even get it again. I don't know, but the likelihood and the possibilities are there. Okay, let's do this now. There's more to it than just this pattern as well. Okay, let me. Why is that not grabbing? There we go. Sorry, I'm being a bit finicky here. Right, so if we go for a 6% difference on the top, you know, let's have a look. 6%, that's about 135%, 134%. Okay. So that there would be, let's do a horizontal ray. Thank you. And then here would be the 6% difference target. Okay. Right. So why do I think this is a possibility? Okay. For those of you that follow the videos along, I just kind of want to explain a few things. Okay. Let's have a look at the fib fan. We will take it from the bottom to, we want to take it to the top here. Okay. Is it there? I want to take it. Or was it there? It's one of them. You've got to be careful because there you go. You can always make it look like however you want. Okay, that's one thing with analysis. You don't know what's actually going to happen until it happens. Okay, if I draw it there, it's slightly different. I draw it there, it's fine. If I draw it over here, it's going to be slightly different again. You know, but it's all what I'm looking at is the 382 down here. Okay, it's all relatively along the same line anyway, no matter where it goes at the top. Okay, I'm just going to leave it there for now. Okay, but we see off the 382 how all of a sudden now it's kind of we're getting that support there. Okay, that's really good off since from the start of the bull run. Okay, so let's draw this line in here. Okay, because we don't really need the whole fib fan when all we're looking for is this. Okay, let's do 0.382 fib fan. Okay, everyone happy with that? All right, let's delete that. Let's get rid of the fib fan from there. Okay, so the other thing that we need to look at now is the fib time. Okay, fib time. Let's have a look. I think I've drawn it to here. Okay, the top of this trend. Okay, the fib time shows that we're about in the right point here. Let's just mark that up on the fib. Okay, we're about here at the right point for it to sort of take off. That's 9th of June, so we're still a month or so out. Yeah, it might happen sooner. Okay, we don't know. But the reason why I've drawn it to the top here, okay, is I want to show you the similarity on the fib time. Okay, we always look for confluence, similarities, possibilities. Okay, so if I do it there, sorry, I've drawn it on there. Or did I draw it there? There. Okay, so that was actually meant to be up there, but so forth. Okay, you see what I'm getting at here. Okay, so the fib time is about the same. Okay, let's have a look at the fib fan. I haven't drawn the fib fan yet. Okay, but let's have a look. So we don't have it on the top. Sort of draw it about the same sort of place. I mean, look, what's interesting here, okay, it's not the 382 that we're looking at here, but we're looking at the 236. Okay, it's sort of all within the same sort of area. Okay, and if I do it on the low before, okay, so it bounces off the 236 and pumps up again. Okay, so this all kind of corresponds with, I mean, this isn't exact over here. Okay, I don't need it to be exact. 0.236 fib fan. Okay, all I need is to see the recognition. Okay, right, so that's that. Let's explain that. Let's have a look at the fib fan again. I want to put it from the top now to the bottom. Is there anything up there? Not really, but what we are looking at is on the equilibrium. Is that the right word? I'm gonna have to Google this now, aren't I? Hold on. Equilibrium meaning state in which opposing forces or influences are balanced. Yep. Okay. So that actually makes sense. Okay. So the equilibrium. Okay. So the opposing force is the all-time high, and look, we are bouncing off it relatively in the same area. Okay. So let's draw this horizontal ray. If I can find it, there we go. Equilibrium force. That's what I'm going to call that. Okay. Right, let's remove that. Okay. So now we have the equilibrium force coming across. We've got the 382 and the 236. Okay. We've got all these metrics pointing up for us to reach a new all-time high. Okay. The problem is that we've also got this ascending triangle that's showing a potential breakdown. Okay, got all this confluence, all this targets, everything pointing for a new all-time high right now. So we should all be, while everyone's loading in the shorts, those erring on the side of caution and pattern recognition should also be looking for the longs right now for a possible play out. Now, what this would mean if this does play out is that we are about to hit a new era in Bitcoin. Okay, because we've done the 4-year cycle. Okay, we should be bear. Okay, we should be setting new lows. Okay, I reckon our bear low target. Let's have a look. Previously, we've kind of hit the previous support. So, if we're going for previous support, it's about here. Okay, so let me bear low. Okay, and I actually want to change that to green. Why not? Or orange? Yeah, make it orange. Cool. Okay. So this is kind of where we'd be going. So if this continues to break out, we could very easily break down target, wick down to the bear low, come back up, go sideways, come back down again, sideways, and then come back up, as we've seen here. Okay, so as you see, it initially come down, then it sort of come down again, found the floor, and then pumped. Okay, so we've got to be mindful of both scenarios here. The probability of the 4-year cycle repeating means that we're going to more than likely go for the bear low. Okay. However, when you look at all the numbers and the diagrams and the pattern recognition there, you will see that there is probably a very high likely chance that we will go to see a new all-time high, and that will come into equation where ETFs have come in. There's better regulation now. We've got bigger institutional players actively in the markets. They're not hiding it anymore. They're actively in the market. Okay, so that they could be the difference that drives this up. Okay, retail are going to get cut short. Okay, retail are going to get cut short. Okay, now another thing I want to point out for pattern recognition on why I feel like this is a likely possibility. Okay, let me get the path tool. Okay, so you've got a W pattern here that plays to the downside. Yeah, and then we've got a potential W pattern here playing to the upside. Okay, M's and W's are always tops and bottoms. Okay, but why is that a pattern recognition? Okay, let me show you. Path, where is it? Here. So we've got a W here, okay, playing to the downside, with another W playing to the upside. Okay, so I'm looking at these patterns and I see this. It's hard not to take a bullish stance once more. Okay, now the other thing I want to point out real quick is I have actually discussed this before. Hold on, let me find it. Not quite as in depth as this, okay, but I wanna bring across a post. Save image, save. Let me just open this up a second. Downloads, because I snipped it. There we go. And so this is a post I made on Discord, okay, back on the 15th of the 7th, 2025, okay, where I called the top, okay, I called the top of the bull run. Let's have a look at the date down the bottom, 5th of October for the very top, but this is where I called it, 14th of July, okay. It only done 2% move. Let me hide that a second and I'll show you. Okay, measure from where I called the top of the bull run, so there. I'll do this one, date and price, so you can see it. Okay, so it done 1.9% higher since July, from July till October. Okay, it dropped first and then it come back up. Okay, I've called that. That's timed and dated. No one can't ever say I didn't call that. Okay, now I've also gave the warning there. Okay, where I said we previously hit the trend line and retraced 56%. 56% would see us hit 54,125 again. Okay, 54,125. What was our low here? Okay, we just got 59,000. So for something I called a year before, I'm only 5 grand out, which really is like 10% of 50 grand, so I'm clutching at straws there. You know, I was out, but only by £5 for something that I called a year prior. Okay. Now I did say I don't think we'll see that just yet. I do see us hitting 69, which we hit 69. We actually went down to 59. And I'll put this trend line is significant as it previously dictated as the peak is in on a cycle. Even after the retrace and pump back up, it never managed to re-hit this trend line. Okay, so what that trend line is, okay, I can't fully show you it on this chart because I don't have all the data, but it is basically, why is this not drawing? All right. Okay, I'll do it like this then. It's probably because, okay, it's the candle data. Okay, that's interesting. Okay, but this is basically what that trend line was. Okay, it was the peak. So the first peak, dip down, hit. Okay, and then it come across to the peak here. Okay, so it bounced off this. Okay, now the trend line's slightly different. Okay, we didn't actually go and hit the trend line again. I can't show you it because I don't have the chart in front of me. In fact, hold on, maybe I can on Trading View. I don't like using Trading View anymore. It's absolutely horrible. Bitcoin USD. Okay, this is like you can see. I've been watching this for a while. Okay, there you go. Right, let's get rid of this. Okay, so this is the trend line I'm on about. So the fib speed fan right from the start of when Bitcoin come out, October 2009. Okay, and how it's come up. Nope, that's not even the trend line I'm looking at. I'm chatting bubbles there, boys and girls. Believe cycle tops. There you go, right there. Okay, so we hit it here, but we never retouched it. Okay, so we've hit it here, come down, bouncing off the 0.5 fib speed fan right from the start of Bitcoin. Okay, so that strengthens us. Okay, that's another point of confluence right there. Okay, I've already drawn all the similarities and stuff out on this chart. Let me just delete them. Okay, because I've done it on the other chart. You can see that. Okay, but there we go. We're bouncing off the 0.5 again, and we're approaching the 0.618. Okay, so that will be a good indicator as well if we're going to break that. Okay, it's going to retest this. Okay, so the signs are there. Okay, the information is there. The indicators are there. Everything's pointing there. But we do have to be careful. Okay, we have to be careful because if the 4-year cycle repeats, we are going to hit bear low this year. Okay, if we have now broken that 4-year cycle and we are in fact going to repeat, okay, then the 4-year cycle doesn't exist anymore, and we're hitting a new all-time high this year. Okay, so I just want you all to be prepared in that scenario. Okay, I'm not saying that is 100% going to happen because I just factually don't know until it actually happens. Okay, but the best thing I can do is point this out to you guys and say to you, be mindful. Okay, bear it in mind. Do with this information what you will. I'm not responsible for it. I know what I'm doing, and yeah, I'll leave that to you guys. All right, well, thank you very much for watching. If you prefer these sort of video formats for analysis, let me know. I'm more than happy to do these video formats as well. But give me a like, give me a subscribe, and let me know. Thank you.